Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. The Blue Jays take down the Rays 8-2 in an opening day start. We're going to break down the entire game after our live stream tonight as we look forward to the weekend.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. But the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are here, Braden and Carter. We just did our live stream as we are recording our Friday episode after the Thursday win against the Tampa Bay Rays at Tropicana Field. We are here, Braden, Carter. Follow us on Twitter, Braden5Uosco, Carter First 2. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Locked On Blue Jays, and of course, please drop a subscription to us here on YouTube. We love the support on the live stream last night. It was absolutely electric. Drop by when we do our next one as we have a ton of fun. Carter joined me with Justin and Jarvis on the live stream tonight, so they will be joining us for tonight's episode following this 8-2 victory over the Tampa Bay Rays. I think we just get it started with our overall thoughts. First of all, I want to send it to Jarvis. We'll start us off with our two guests. Jarvis, how did you feel about the Blue Jays victory tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game. Obviously, some big hits from some big players and some big hits from some people that I didn't really expect to hit those big hits.
All right, Justin, your biggest takeaway from tonight's game?
I think it's just it's going to be a lot different from last year. I think looks like the Blue Jays are finally kind of starting to rally a bit, put together a big inning, get some manufacture some runs off of some singles, some doubles, not necessarily rely on that home run every time.
For sure. I 100% agree. We are doing something a little bit different here. We did the live stream. We had the whole setup going, so we just sort of kept it rolling. Carter, huge day. You posted the TikTok. I guess it came out yesterday for the people seeing this. Just how electric was that game for you as a Blue Jays fan to see us come out with such passion and such heat to start the season?
See, the Toronto Blue Jays do have a good history on opening day, but it is the Toronto Blue Jays. There's so much inconsistency last season. I was a little bit nervous going into this game. Zach Lidos looked good in spring training. He had great success last year against the Toronto Blue Jays. Didn't seem like we could get anything going off of him. Didn't look like that for the first few innings as well. George Springer finally got things going with a solo bomb, as George Springer does. Nice to see him back and productive at the start of the season. And then that sixth inning, what a complete inning from the Toronto Blue Jays. It feels like there probably were a few times last season that we did get innings like this, but it felt like it just never happened. Thank God we got it week one, game one at that. Ridiculous performance. You get Vladdy home run. You get Bichette with an infield hit. You get a walk. Next at-bat with Justin Turner. Well, I hit him in the hand. Hopefully he is okay. He did finish out the game. Looks like he's going to be fine. Kirk with a huge hit. Kevin Kiermaier with a huge hit. It's just a great inning. And John Schneider doesn't pull Jose Berrios, believe it or not. When he's dealing, finds himself in a little bit of trouble, sticks it out, let your dogs eat, let your dogs play. Great job by John Schneider. Great job by the Blue Jays coaching staff, and a great win for the Toronto Blue Jays.
You can hear the passion in our voice right now. We are absolutely pumped. It is Bad Thursday tonight as we head into Good Friday. It is the most popular bar night of the year. The guys have had a couple beers. We've felt good. We've gotten together, a couple appetizers, a couple pizzas, a couple wings. It has been an absolutely fantastic opening day weekend for us here at Locked On Blue Jays. Again, we want to give you guys a thank you for joining the live stream last night. For those of you who didn't join, we got a bunch of people in there giving their thoughts, their comments. It was honestly a blast, Carter. And to be honest, what was your favorite part of that live stream? That we did the post-game live stream. Carter, what was your favorite part of that post-game live stream?
Just the interaction with the fans. Some people that we found we have a lot more in common than we actually thought. People were enjoying the game, enjoying the live stream just as we were. The interaction was fun. We always say on this podcast, whenever we have the opportunity to talk about Blue Jays, we're going to take that in full stride. We're going to run with it. Whether we appreciate your takes, we always do, but whether we agree with them or we don't, we're still going to love the takes. our takes are going to be questionable sometimes. Most of the time, they're going to be accurate because we are experts. We obviously know everything about the Toronto Blue Jays. Obviously not. But it's always fun to watch the Toronto Blue Jays. Great opening day action, as this team has provided in the last few years. Great team win. Finally take down an AL East team. Start on the right trend. Thank God, honestly. Thank God.
So as you guys know, we've talked about this live stream before. It is a different setup, and we're well aware of that. Sometimes maybe the quality's not as good as you're necessarily used to, but we're working with what we have. We're Blue Jays fans talking to Blue Jays fans, and that is the epitome of this podcast. Jap, Jar, you guys necessarily don't come on here as often and talk about Blue Jays as we do. Just the game from our, stars, as we should say. Vlad, Bo, Berrios. I want to start with Berrios because he pitched an electric game tonight. I want to get your initial thoughts. Justin, I know we talked about this last night on the live stream, but just your overall thoughts on Berrios' game.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I think I probably speak for most fans when I say I was a little concerned after that leadoff home run. But no, I think he settled in really well after that. And I mean, yeah, clearly had a quality start. Did what he had to do in the offense. It was nice to see them get going for him. And I think, when he has that run support, he's only going to do, better, right? So it's just, it was nice to see. I thought, he did his job. I thought it's a good sign for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and talking about run support, it's something that maybe the Blue Jays haven't had maybe at all last season.
Ask Kevin Gausman about that.
That's right. Kevin Gausman might be one of the people that feel that the most coming out of last season.
I'm surprised he didn't have a hit on one of the Toronto Blue Jays last season for how bad they were.
Exactly. Jar, I wanted to throw over to you. Vladdy's home run, his 450-foot nuke that maybe met Bradley Zimmer out in Mars or wherever he is now. How electric was that as a fan to watch that ball leave the yard?
You know what? You just never knew when the ball was coming down. That thing was absolutely launched. And you know what? Watching it with like people, like your buddies and stuff was even more electric. Like watching everybody like get up and just like, it was just nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
And that's why we love these fan interactions so much as well. Like you just said, it's always more entertaining. It's always more fun when you're with your friends and you're with people that enjoy the same things as you, with diehard fans, just as we are with the Toronto Blue Jays. We ride or die with this team. Our days are ruined when they lose. And that's why we're so upbeat right now, because we laid an absolute beating on the Tampa Bay Rays. Any team in the AL East, it's just a little bit more sweet when you beat them.
You know what? I wanted to give a shout out to Skylar Peters, who came on this podcast last Friday. He was texting me throughout the entire game. He was fired up. And you know what? I love those interactions with other Blue Jays fans. And we got a good portion of that on the live stream last night, as a ton of Blue Jays fans came and were just as ecstatic as we are. We're pumped to talk about the Blue Jays. And honestly, we didn't have major structure for today's episode. It was more just, hey, we are absolutely pumped. And just we wanted to dive into this game because it was so electric. One guy I wanted to bring up more so maybe than anybody, I think there's two of them, but I want to start with one guy, and that's Cavan Biggio. I think had an outstanding game. I think proved the point that he deserves to be the second baseman on this team. Without getting into IKF, Carter, Cavan Biggio's game. Give us a quick little rundown on your thoughts on his game.
He looked exactly how he did in the second half of last season. Unbelievable for what you're getting out of Cavan Biggio. A guy that's not going to be expected to hit top 5 in this lineup. A guy that's wanting to provide depth, a little bit of power from the left side. It's another alternative to play at that second base, third base position. And just after his first at bat, I had thought something was in the air. I had a good feeling about it. I'm like, Cavan Biggio is about to launch here. And then Jarvis actually was like, there's no way Cavan Biggio is about to launch. This guy, me and him were both not big on Cavan Biggio last season. I think I came around a little bit more than he did at the end of the year. But I had a good feeling about Cavan Biggio. And what did he do? He launched. 350 feet, not quite the 450 we got from Vladdy, but a home run is a home run. Don't have pictures on the scorecard, as they say in golf normally, but don't have pictures on the scoreboard either in baseball. Home run is a home run. Vladdy's may have been cooler, but it's the same amount of weight on the scoreboard.
So, Justin, I talked about Cavan Biggio, but another guy I think that you saw a real rise out of tonight was Alejandro Kirk. I just break me down what you saw tonight out of him.
Yeah, I love Kirky. I love watching them run around the base. I think he kind of had I can't remember what inning it was, but he had a little chopper to I think third or short or something. You know what? He made things pretty close at first base. He almost got there, but no, obviously in the sixth inning, it was him who got the double, drove in 2 runs with the bases loaded with 2 outs, and I don't think I need to remind everyone else, but the Jays last year were not very good with bases loaded, and especially with 2 outs. So it's just really, really nice to see a timely hit strung together, got a few runs, and yeah, I thought it was just really good game from Kirk.
I 100% agree. You know what? There's not much that I almost wouldn't agree with at this point because it was such an electric win. There's no negative attitude. It's fun to come out of a baseball game not thinking, okay, where's the nearest bridge? It's fun.
I'm not a big math guy at all, but when we're looking at projections here, we want to know 162 games, 162 wins, 162-0. Vladdy has a home run. 1 home run in 1 game, 162 games, 162 home runs. On pace for 162 home runs. Cavan Biggio's on that boat. George Springer's on that boat. Blue Jays to the moon. Look at it. First time ever in MLB history, 3 players with 162 home runs.
Yeah, you know what? It's a fun way to start the year. Don't get me wrong. We don't want to get too over the top in the sense that we know there's still 161 games. Seasons go up and down. They take their turns.
But it's only up for the Toronto Blue Jays.
We have to go. You know what? Sometimes as sports fans, we don't necessarily have as much fun with team success as we maybe should. You know, there's a lot of down points in all of sports. You know, it doesn't matter when you lose. If you lose, it's never fun. So I think opening day, you know, it's heading into a long weekend. We all have to just have maybe a good peace of mind that we're starting this long weekend with a Blue Jays opening day win. And it was a great performance. We saw all the right things we needed to. The only thing maybe that I didn't see necessarily that I wanted to, I will get into right after this break. We have one ad today, and of course, that's FanDuel. So we will get into my player who I didn't necessarily have the best game, maybe that I want to see more of right after the break. Today's episode, of course, is brought to you by FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or the 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. As you guys know, I hate betting against the Blue Jays. So this whole season, I will be riding on the Blue Jays. Don't get me wrong. I'll make my picks of which games I think they'll win. But I will also be taking a look at strikeout totals, walk totals, total bases, number of hits, a bunch of different things I will be coming with you, to you guys with my bets for the next days or so as we get in, more towards the beginning of the season, middle of the season. So just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet college hoops until they cut down the nets. All right, guys, welcome back. Jar is being a little bit of our technical producer today. As you know, this is a different setup. We're having to work things differently. We're not overly used to this. We had a ton of fun on the live stream. I hope you guys did as well. If you didn't get the chance to stop by, when we do our next live stream, we will be teeing it up, of course, on all of our episodes leading up to the date. We usually try to plan them, a decent amount in advance so that you guys know, okay, these guys are having this. You can even, some people, if you've seen the live stream yesterday, maybe leave a comment. Let us know if you guys had a good time and you want us to do more because it honestly was a blast for us. I think even the guys joining us, Justin and Jarvis, both had a great time on it. And I think just we're excited to talk about the Blue Jays. One guy I wanted to get into that was a little bit underwhelming for me. And Justin, I'm going to throw this to you first because I know you have some thoughts. Daulton Varsho, not necessarily the outing we all expected from him when we were talking about a bounce-back season, but this is the first game. I'm going to throw it to you. Tell me your thoughts on Daulton Varsho.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like he certainly didn't have the same maybe offensive game as what we were kind of hoping for, but there was one small detail that I noticed, and it was in that sixth inning. It was when Kirk had the bases loaded and he drove in those 2 runs. Varsho was on first at the time of that hit. He got to second, obviously, but instead of trying to go to third, he stopped at second. And keep in mind there was 2 outs. So in theory, a single for the next guy up, Kevin Kiermaier, would score him. What does Kevin Kiermaier do? Hits a single, and Varsho scores. So instead of Varsho potentially taking that risk of trying to turn the corner and head to third, he stopped at second and is able to get hit in by Kiermaier the next at bat. And I think that was something with the Blue Jays last year, their base running. There was a few times where what are these guys doing? So it's just nice to see that guys have their head on their shoulders and they're just being aware while they're running the bases.
See, I think I have a reason for the Blue Jays, a little bit of base running mishaps last season. Obviously, as we know, don't have to bring it up on this podcast. Our offense sucked, straight up. Bunch of bombs on our offense last season. Nobody played good at all, other than Bichette. You have Bichette being good. And then you had Cavan Biggio at the end of the year. You had some little spurts. David Schneider, unbelievable rookie start. Don't really have to get into that. Everyone knows about that. But I think the reason that we did have some base running miscues, obviously one is overall seriousness of the team. Sometimes you do have a little bit of mental lapses, and it does end off hurting the Toronto Blue Jays, as we saw in the playoffs with Vladimir getting picked off at 2. But I think the reasoning that the Toronto Blue Jays they were very aggressive on the base paths last season. And the reasoning is we couldn't drive in runs. We weren't scoring any runs at all. So if we had a chance to take that extra base, to take that risk, get that extra base, it almost felt like it was a must. We needed to do it because we were not going to get another hit that inning. If you had a chance to get home, even if it wasn't in your favor, you had to take the risk, or you might as well just try to steal home, because the Toronto Blue Jays were not driving in runners in scoring position. They weren't hitting with runners on. They weren't doing anything good that they needed to offensively last season to sum up the whole season.
You know what, Justin? I think that's such a key piece, and I that's maybe something that the average Blue Jays fan doesn't notice, and I appreciate you noticing what Daulton Varsho did there, because what that doesn't, he's still in scoring position. He doesn't take the risk. Don't get me wrong. That's all great. But I think more than anything, what that play does is insinuate that he's got confidence in his teammates to drive in the run. And I think confidence is such a huge piece to this Blue Jays team. When they're high in confidence and they feel like they can, beat the world at baseball, they can do amazing things. But once in a while they get down and the guys aren't hitting and stuff's not going their way. And the morale of the team just falls. And I think little things like that of Varsho showing that, okay, I know the guys who are coming up after me, and I know what they can do, I think is a huge piece. And Daulton Varsho, one of the smartest base runners on the team, which I really appreciate because of all the maybe non-success we've had last year and the disappointing base running. And so hopefully that bleeds into the rest of the team and seeing the smart plays that he's capable of making. And I think that's just one of the reasons why Daulton Varsho is one of my bounce back candidates this year, just for the fact of how smart of a baseball player he is. Carter, we do want to get into, of course, previewing the weekend, as we won't be here. Saturday, Sunday, we won't be here. We'll be back Monday, of course, trying to break down the whole series of the Rays, what happens. But until then, Carter, we're not here. So I think it's important that we spend a little bit of time previewing this series, asking these guys of how they think the series is going to pan out overall. So we're going to do that coming up right away in our next segment.
Just before we do head into that, though, I wanted to bring up our Locked On 24/7 streaming channel. Perfect opportunity with so many sports going on. We have March Madness, NHL playoffs are getting close. We have the NBA playoffs. Obviously, the MLB is back. Ton of different things going on. Perfect opportunity to head on to our Locked On Sports channel on YouTube and subscribe to our first ever 24/7 streaming channel.
Welcome back as our technical producer, Jarvis Iwasko, has struggled a little bit with that ad break. Sometimes you guys don't know, but you might see whatever, a little bit. We're doing this on the fly. We're doing a different type of episode. We haven't done this before with two guests. I honest to God don't know if I don't think we've ever had two live guests before besides on the live stream last night. So it is different. Things are different.
Are they different or?
They might be different.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Thanks for that. No, but it's fun when we do episodes like this. It might not be the most technically sound or maybe the most brilliant way of doing things, but we're all Blue Jays fans here, and I think that's the biggest point. We just want to have fun talking about this team, and I think we're all here doing that. We had a great time with these two on the live stream as well. Also, watching the game, I think we all came together, and in big moments, we were jumping out of our seats. And in I think off that first pitch or the first at bat of the game there with Jose Berrios giving up that home run, it sort of all put us in a downer mood until George Springer was able to bring us all back.
See, I just wanted to jump in.
No, that's all good.
I just wanted to ask, when you guys saw that first home run, I unfortunately did miss the first at bat because I had an interview. And I got in here literally on the second at bat, right while I was up played. And I'm like, how are we already down 1-0? So the spin zone is here. I need to be available. I need to be here in this building when Jose Berrios is pitching. I need to watch because as soon as I started watching, he was unbelievable. But what I was going to say is, after that first home run, was there any doubt in your guys' minds that the Toronto Blue Jays were going to do the exact same thing as last year and we're pretty much done in this game? How are we going to score a run?
For me, it wasn't Berrios. I knew Berrios had it. I don't think we have anything to worry about with Berrios. But what concerned me was the first 3 innings. How many hits did the Blue Jays have? 0. They went 9 up, 9 down.
And no good contact either.
No. So that is what maybe concerned me. But clearly those fears have been doused a little bit. So I think we're going to be okay this season.
Yeah, you know what? As you said earlier, Jap, I was thinking a bit about what you said about the long ball and how the small hits came into play in the 6th inning. And that's what I was a little worried about. I was worried about last season and how it was only the long ball, right? And now that's what a lot of people were worried about. And then we saw a little more of that come in later. So
yeah, because you can't rely on hitting 3 home runs every single game, especially if they're going to be solo shots. You want to get a few runners home.
Great.
I totally get where you guys are coming from. And for me, 100% Jeff, I agree with you. Jose Berrios, I've seen his stuff now over the last season and into spring training where that wasn't an overly worrying point for me. It sort of came down to the fact that was it going to take the gas out of the rest of the lineup, right? And we found out, obviously, that didn't happen. But for those first 3 innings, like you said, it looked like that was going to be the case. And thank God, George Springer was able to inject some life into this lineup. But Carter, I do want to get into the series. We're down. Yeah, we won game 1. That's fantastic. What does the rest of the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Tampa Bay Rays series look like?
Okay, so from what I have here, it looks like the Toronto Blue Jays starters are concrete. I have the probable starters for the Rays against Tampa Bay Rays. I'm not doubting with the Rays like I am with the Blue Jays. They might have some rebounding to do after that performance they just put out. So I'm not sure if they want to switch some starting pitching matchups up. But this is what we have going on so far. So for tomorrow, we have the Hound on the mound, the Dog, 200 innings pitched last season, Chris Bassitt. Very excited for that. Another reliable pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays against Aaron Civale. That's an interesting one. The Tampa Bay Rays starting pitching rotation is already depleted. Drew Rasmussen, again, is gone. Shane McClanahan. So I'm not going to lie, some of these guys in the bottom of the rotation I've heard of in passing, but I don't really know what they're about. So this is going to be something that is news to me this series. Kind of can figure out what these young guys on the Tampa Bay Rays have going on for them. So in game number 2, it looks like we're going to have Zach Lytle versus Yusei Kikuchi. And then for game 4, I have Bowden Francis, and I don't have a probable starter for game 4 yet. It looks like it's going to come down either to tomorrow or the next day for that start. We are going to have Bowden Francis for sure. Maybe Kevin Gausman if he's ready. Hopefully we do see Kevin Gausman. We're not going to rush him back. How do you feel about these pitching performances?
Well, first of all, I don't think I will ever doubt the Blue Jays pitching staff right now. They've just proven themselves to be so good and so reliable. For that Sunday start, I guess, when Bowden Francis is scheduled to pitch, or that's right?
That would be the fourth game. It's either Kevin Gausman's ready, he's going to go.
That's right.
Right now it's Bowden Francis.
Okay, so the Sunday start, Bowden Francis, I'm in the thinking that this is going to be Kevin Gausman, and they're going to do an old switcheroo on us, and it will be Kevin Gausman. But if it is Bowden Francis, I'm excited to see him play as well. He's proven himself to be the fifth starter on this team. I don't have any faith in Alek Manoah, as we've talked about. So I think Bowden Francis is that guy. So I'm pretty excited to see him. Justin, I sort of want to pass this off, maybe not as a pitching question, because looking at the Rays pitching compared to the Jays pitching, it's tough as a maybe non-Rays fan to know some of these lower level guys. What I really want to know from you two, I'll start with Justin. I'll say as an entirety of this series, what do you think the final outcome will be?
I guess my first thought was, Kit, when you were going through those pitching matchups, I was like, who are these guys the Rays have called up from AA? I've never heard of any of these guys. But then again, I also don't really follow other teams' starting pitchers. I don't really know many other players on.
Who cares? They're all bums. And all the
Yeah.
So, no, I think I'm confident in certainly the Blue Jays pitching staff. And I mean, based on what we've seen today, I don't see any reason, like, if the Jays can get that many runs on the Tampa Bay's starting guy, like, bring on like the next few, whatever else they got. Right? Like, if that was their ace, like, come on.
A little bit of a ricochet shot at Zach Lido there. But he deserves it. I mean, after that performance in that sixth inning, he completely lost it. He looked a little bit like Alek Manoah in some aspects of that game. Had a little bit more control, but boy, did that scoreboard ever get lit up.
So, Jap, I need a prediction from you in a 4-game series. I'm putting you on the spot. How many games are the Jays winning?
Okay, I'll go 3-1.
3-1.
Which one are they losing? Are they losing the Bassitt start, the Kikuchi start, or the Bowden Francis start?
I'm going to say the Kikuchi start.
Okay.
I think we're going to get after it a little bit on Friday.
You stole my pick too, Jap, unfortunately.
Are you 3-1 as well?
No, but I'm saying if it were to be 3-1, I would say it would have to be the Kikuchi one.
Okay.
But I'll be on the more optimistic side and say we're going 4-0.
Wow.
I think that how we started this series, I think, why not? Right?
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, a 4-0 start, don't get me wrong. I think all of us as Blue Jays fans would love to see even a 3-1 start. I'm over the moon.
Yeah.
Carter, I didn't ask you this yet. Your final series predictions for this opening weekend, I guess, start.
Yeah, so for me and you, we're going to be keeping track of our series predictions. So we both had a Blue Jays win. Obviously came through fruition. I had a 5-3 win. I think you were pretty close.
I think I said like
with the Blue Jays runs,
or
but
something.
I don't think you had the Rays total. But I think you were closer than me. We did have Blue Jays wins. I have them winning tomorrow. Start with Chris Bassitt. I actually have him winning Kikuchi start, but I think something's going to go wrong with Bowden Francis. Unfortunately, I think he's going to struggle a little bit. Still going to be a decent outing for your fifth pitcher. I think he's going to go about 4 innings. But I think the Blue Jays are going to start to fumble a little bit offensively that game. They're going to take 3 out of 4, but they are going to lose that Bowden Francis start.
Okay, so listen to me. This is mine here. If it's a Kevin Gausman start, I have them 3-1. If it's a Bowden Francis start, I have them 2-2. Now, I feel like that's sort of a cop-out answer. So I will go – I'm going to go 3-1. They lose the Kikuchi start. I'm going to ride with my boy Justin Powers. Because why not?
Ride with me on a loss. Come on.
I'm riding with Justin. I'm taking his. Might as well bet it on FanDuel if Justin says it.
All right. Just before we do head out, I do have one more question for all the boys here, and I'm going to start with Brady Wasco's brother, Trevor Wasco. So, in this question, I just want you to answer this. And let the viewers know, who do you think is going to be the most impactful player for the rest of the Toronto Blue Jays series? Whether it's a pitcher who has an unbelievable start, whether it's you think Vladdy's going to hit 3 more home runs in this series, God, would that be awesome? When you think Daulton Varsho is going to heat up, who do you think is going to be the most impactful player for the rest of the Tampa Bay Rays?
You know what? I think that Bo had an unreal. I think it's what he did this game was a little bit overlooked. by other stuff happening in the game,
sure.
obviously.
100% agree.
And I think he's going to do some good stuff in the next couple of games here. So.
Yeah, no, I think Bo was kind of the guy I had in my mind too. I think, just the way he's played today. I mean, you can see he's trying to place those hits down the line. I don't think he got one today, but there were some pretty close ones. And he's just such a powerful hitter, such a good place hitter. Like, I think he's probably going to just keep continuing his success from today.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to argue with Bo Bichette. I think the most maybe underrated player of this series will be Alejandro Kirk. We've seen some really good things from him, even defensively with that throw to get the guy who was stealing out. I can't remember who that was right now, but
might have been Jose Siri.
Anyway, whatever.
Or is it shortstop?
Yeah, it was a great throw, and I think defensively, offensively, Alejandro Kirk will be an underrated player going through this series. But you know what? You two guys, you saw the game today. Bo Bichette is never a bad bet. So I will ride with you. Justin, I won't just ride with you on losses. I will also ride with you on Bo Bichette.
Okay.
See, and I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. Maybe this is a little bit of a hot take. I think this guy's getting underrated. I think it's one of those things where he's new on the Blue Jays, didn't have the greatest day. I think he actually had pretty good at-bats. The stat line's not going to show it. Justin Turner. I like Justin Turner's contact today. I like this approach. I think this guy's going to be a major key to the Toronto Blue Jays' success, especially when you have guys like George Springer, Vladdy, and Bo Bichette hitting in front of this guy. He's going to have a lot of opportunities to drive runners in. He's going to make a good contact in this series. He is a veteran. He has experience. I think he's going to explode in the last couple games of this Tampa Bay Rays series. And I think he's going to hit a home run in one of the next 3 games.
All right, guys, we want to, of course, thank you. Jarvis is about to hit the, you can see the MLB ending there. Sorry, I have to say that, but we want to, just to make this run as smoothly as possible. He is our technical engineer tonight. Hit the subscribe button. Join us in some live streams that we do coming up. We'll, of course, be announcing those when they happen. And let us know if you guys enjoyed the live streams, if you participated, if you didn't, if you want to see more. We really appreciate all that that you guys do with liking our videos, watching, just keeping pretty up to date. I do want to send it right back to Carter first here real quick, but just a big thank you from me, from all the support in the past few days.
Yeah, so we have noticed that around 80% of you guys are not subscribed. We did get a lot of support on that live stream, but if you guys are tuning into live streams, you guys are tuning into all of our episodes, you might as well drop a subscription. It's free. It helps us out a ton. We always appreciate the support. I have posted a TikTok, Instagram Reel, YouTube Short. We kind of got it out everywhere. If you guys want to see more of me, hopefully you do. If you're tuning into this podcast, you have the option to go to YouTube, Instagram Reels, or TikTok. But before we do head out for the weekend, I do want to shout out our Locked On 24/7 streaming channel, March Madness. This is one of the best times to be a sports fan of the year. So much going on. I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys want our expert analysis on any of these sports, MLB, please stay with us if you want MLB.
Yeah.
But NBA, NHL, March Madness, all of that kind of stuff, college sports. Let's go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to our first ever national 24/7 streaming channel. Thank you guys for watching and have a safe weekend.